good evening, good night, good whatever the occasion it is. So today is Sunday. It is February 1st. It is my birthday, and I just wanted to stop by here and just speak about my what 28 years means to me. So I turned 28 years young. I just remember when I was 21, leaving my mom's house and just starting my own journey. So I remember when I first left my mom's house, I recall not knowing what to do, just knowing that I was just gonna be out there. I had no support from people except for by the time that I left, I literally had no support. I remember one of my friends, she really wanted to be with me through the situation, but because of personal reasons, I didn't want her to get involved, or I didn't want people to involve her. So the long story short, I was left with no other option but to be by myself. At that time, what I thought myself. Looking back now, a couple years later, a few years later, it was God's grace that helped me throughout all that journey. So I stayed at a hotel when I left my mom's house. I didn't really have anywhere to stay. I even remember what hotel it was, and I was just there. I remember even getting to that place. It was very hard, just because I had to take an Uber and all this case. I didn't have a job at that point, and it was just so interesting because I feel as now that I know the Lord and I know how good and wonderful He is and the stuff He's got me through. It's so hilarious to look back and think, never in my life have I ever been stressed up until now in this age of my life. And I'm just thinking, and just right now it just came to me that why am I gonna let circumstances in my life stress me out? Like, if I was able to overcome them before, knowing who God was and His goodness, why am I stressing over certain situations? So yes, after going through that little circumstance and just finding a place to stay, I remember I didn't have a car. I remember that somehow I got in contact with one of my exes, and he helped me carry some items, and he used to drive me to the location. And I remember, by the grace of God, the lady that used to live there that was leaving where I was gonna rent, she didn't want to take her bed and her furniture with her, so she left me the bed. If not, I would have been sleeping on the floor. I remember not having even a blanket to sleep. I remember that in the night, when the night came, the lady, the landlord, she gave me a bed sheet to basically, so I could kind of wrap myself and use it to cover myself. I remember the desperation, but not stress. I was just like, I need to find somewhere to stay, right? I jumped ahead of myself. I remember when I was at my at the motel or hotel. It was a motel. It wasn't a hotel. It was a motel. I remember when I stayed there. I remember looking at my bank account and saying, if I don't find a place to stay within this week, how am I gonna pay for this whole motel? Like, I'm paying by the day, and I'm gonna run out of resources by the time. And by God's grace, I found a place. I called and I got a place. So then I moved in and just getting that and trying to applying to jobs and trying to obtain a car. I was at that time trying to finish my bachelor's, which ultimately later on I stopped going and finished it later on in the years. And yeah, it was an interesting time for sure. I remember applying to different jobs. I got a job at 7-Eleven. We had no experience in learning new things. I remember long after that I applied somehow to Walgreens. I remember getting a phone call, getting an interview. I remember walking in, asking for the manager, going in, and being a little nervous, but knowing, hey, whatever it is, it's gonna be. What if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Walking in, super. I remember one of the questions I was taking my time to answer. And I was thinking, how am I going to answer this question? And I was answering it. I got hired right away, and they were telling me that I might, if I was interested in becoming a leader. I remember it took within 2 months to be able to get a lead position there. I remember working in the mornings at 7-Eleven, and this is before COVID. A little before, it was in between that COVID era. So I was just telling my friend, like, it just amazes me how before COVID, all the jobs were basically full-time. So at 7-Eleven, I was blessed enough to have a full-time position. So I would go in at 6 in the morning and then leave around 2. No, it was like around 1:30 or 1 or 12, somewhere around there. But basically, I was there working from that shift, and then afterwards, I would usually close at Walgreens, so it would be from 2 to 10:30, and that would be my routine. So I remember doing that, and then I remember where I moved, where I lived, I moved to somewhere else, so I changed locations for Walgreens, and I ended up leaving the 7-Eleven job. I then I don't remember how it happened, but I ended up getting an email right on time. Literally, I believe it was 3 days before orientation, but I got an email from Target distribution center, and it was just asking me, I was telling me that the orientation was going to be in 3 days in this email, and I don't know how I came across it, but I know it's God's always perfect timing. And I remember very clearly and vividly just being in shock and asking, like, the new schedule rolled out. Who's gonna cover me? So I went in to talk to my manager, and I said, hey, like, this is what's happening. I'm trying to get another job, an extra job, and want to see if I'm able to have the day off. And he asked where was I gonna get another job at, and I said Target. He said it's a conflict of interest because Target has CVS and their Walgreens, so it's not gonna work out. So you choose. You stick with Walgreens, or you go ahead and you're gonna have to if you choose Target, you're gonna have to just quit. So back then, I know it was my pride, and I said to myself, no one tells me what to do. I am not gonna stay here. If I gave you I was thinking, if I gave my boss I gave him the full details. I was being truthful. I wasn't lying to him. I wasn't I said I could have called out sick. I could have done this, but I was open enough to tell you what was going on, and you give me this instead of giving me another, like brushing it under the rug and say, you know what, blah blah, right? Anyways, long story short, that happens, and um, and yeah, I I told him, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and go to Target. So I remember going into Target that time, going in, and they took a picture of me for my badge in case for the time I was gonna work. And this was around August. So I go ahead, I go in, they gave me all this, breakdown and jot down. And I remember asking about if they ever laid people off, because during COVID, I was an essential worker, so I never had time off. And so I asked, like, it's a warehouse. Did you guys have to close down because of COVID? And they're like, nope, we didn't. So, long story short, I go ahead, I get hired through the company. It wasn't an agency. Like I said, I don't remember applying through there, but I got hired. And I remember it was a few of us. It was a lot. It was a few of us, but I didn't know that this was only 90 days, and if you didn't perform well, they weren't gonna hire you. So the company hired you for 90 days, and then within 90 days they would let you know if you'd stay with the company or not. So here I am. I already quit Walgreens, right? And Target was my only job. And if you ask me, was I stressed? No, I really wasn't stressed. I wasn't stressed at all. It really wasn't. So I go ahead and 90 days pass, and right before I was set to go in to work and for them to let me know if I got hired, I get COVID. I get COVID, and I'm just stressing. At that time, I was a little stressed because I was thinking, I'm supposed to be there and they're supposed to let me know, but I'm gonna go call and see if I get hired. They tell me, HR person tells me, congratulations, you got hired. And I'm like, yay. And then I'm just trying to survive at this point because I had COVID. I was so paranoid because I was thinking, I didn't have COVID like while I was working like face to face with customers, and now I have COVID, like how? And so yeah, so that happened, and it was God's perfect timing because we got hired. Three of us actually just got hired. So I remember when they were training us, it was myself, another guy, and another 3 guys. I was the only girl. So we became really close. And when it came to hiring, they said, yeah, they hired a few people at a time. And they hired all of us at the same time. They hired all of us. So long story short, that happened. And it was just so, looking back now and seeing how God has worked in my life and how God met me at a time where I could have gone a different route. So I love my story. I really do. Because I see God's hand in every single area of my life. Where you would think I would be resentful. There's so much joy and so much peace knowing how good He is. And it was such a bittersweet moment leaving that company, because that company it provided for me, but it's also a company where it made me grow as a person, and then spiritually and emotionally and overall. I remember there's this one of my friends who was we started as friends. I really wanted to be close to him and understand and have that I guess relationship where I was able to speak and understand him. But there was something that I wasn't quite getting. There was just something that it didn't let us, in my opinion, be at peace. So I remember, I don't know how it came to be, but I know he was a Christian, but I was like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to remember, like, how did I not know that I wasn't, it's as if I knew we weren't equal. It's almost like when you know that like the poor guy knows, like, oh no, I can never be with the king's daughter or stuff like that. That's literally almost the equivalent of how I felt. So I remember who ended up one of the girls that she was my friend. She wasn't my friend, but now I could say she is. Anyways, so she invited me to church, and I remember thinking, this is gonna help me be close to this person. This is gonna help me be able to understand him, being able to be together in peace, be able to, I don't know, but so it's just interesting because I was always a people pleaser. I was always trying to satisfy the needs of others, to feel loved, right? So it was just so interesting that God played a big role, because at this time, I really wanted to be this person's friend, and I really wanted to be in his life. So I thought that me becoming a Christian was gonna help somehow. So that's the reason why why I said yes to going to church. So God literally used a man who I was idolizing, who I wanted to get so close to, and used it for his good. And knowing that he only knew, like, this is gonna be the beginning for you to get close to me. And it's such a redemption story, because that's the same reason. A man was the same reason why my mom and I had a fallout. And the reason why I came into I went into like darker witchcraft and started to just perform and get into sin even more. And it's like he flipped it, and I'm just so happy, and so like, that man is gonna be always an important person in my life. He's always gonna hold. Of course, it's always God, but that person is always gonna be part of my testimony. So you know, all my past relationships, I don't even recall their names sometimes. Like, I remember one time I was scrolling through Instagram, and they were giving me suggestions. I'm like, oh wow, like I totally forgot I dated this person. So, yeah, there's some characters in my life that don't hold value, but of course they made a big impact in my life. But it's just, this person is going to always be very, hold a lot of value in my life, right? In my testimony, sorry, not in my life, in my testimony. So it's just beautiful to see how God uses every situation in your life for His good. If you allow it, you always see such blessings in every mundane circumstances. And I'm just so happy and excited because throughout the years and up until now, I could say that there's nothing that will satisfy me, because the things that I wanted, when I have them, it's like, well, now that I have them, it's not something I thirst for or thirst after anymore. So it gets me thinking, and God made me realize, like, Estelle, don't idolize things, and don't say, when I get this, or when I do this, or when I become this, I'm gonna be a happy person. Because Estelle, you're not. I've given you so many blessings, and you have yet. Like, once you get it, you're just like, okay, what do I do now? So, in 28, after some time, and in this 28 years of life, I learned that really all you need is Jesus, because Jesus provides you the peace, the love, the satisfaction, and every fruit of the Spirit is all you need. That's all you need, because any assignment, I'll just end it like that. That's all you need. So I am so excited for every day in my life to see what assignment God has for me. And I know that there's things I still need to grow on. I know that there's still things that I need to let go. And I'm just very happy and excited, because there's no better story. I love my story, and I love what God is doing in my life. But yes, I just hope that you guys are able to follow me through the next chapters in my life, in my 28 years. Like, that's insane to say. 28 years. Like I said, I remember I left my mom's house when I was 21, and now I'm 28. I've been saved for 3 years. 2023, 24, 25, 26. It's about to be 3 years that I've been saved. And I couldn't be more excited to what's to come. I know that there's many more things that God wants me to do, but I just need to let God. I need to let God work through me, because last year, like I keep mentioning, it was a year of renewing, but this year it's gonna be a year of just full on it's gonna be a year full of just I'm just gonna let the Lord lead me, and work through me, and listen to God's calling and assignments that He wants me to take. I just need to be still and listen to what he wants me to do. So yes, I'm excited and I'm very thankful, and that's it. That's all I wanted to share. I wanted to share just that quick little story. And yes, so I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday, and I will see you guys in the next video.